I feel the heat of the spotlight pressing against my skin. I'm standing in the middle of a grand banquet hall, surrounded by clinking glasses and faint whispers. My heart pounds so loudly that I almost cannot hear the band playing in the corner. Across the room, in the glow of gold and white decorations, I see Himmy ex-husband Jeff. He's wearing a smug grin, his arm wrapped around the waist of his new wife, Chloe, who tilts her head to laugh at something he murmurs. My children, Logan and Luna, are there too. They stand by the stage, glancing my way with unsettled expressions. It's supposed to be their father's big anniversary party, but the hush that just fell across the crowd is meant for me, because I have just arrived, uninvited and unexpected. I hadn't planned to come here. Truthfully, I was content to bury myself in my cafe, which is my pride and joy these days. But then I learned that Logan and Luna hadn't simply forgotten to see me on my birthday. They had spent that entire evening celebrating here, with Jeff and Chloe. And I discovered that Chloe, smug and much younger, orchestrated the entire event to mock the fact that I am older, that I was left behind. I watch as an uncomfortable silence creeps in. I wonder if anyone else notices that my fingertips are trembling, not from fear, but from a lethal mixture of anger and betrayal. My mind spins back to the text messages I found on Logan's phone when he visited my cafe by accident last week. Don't go to your mother's. She'll find any excuse to spoil our anniversary. We have better plans. Remember your place. Those words from Chloe had set my teeth on edge, because it was a direct command, urging my own child to disown me, to treat me as an afterthought on my own birthday. And now here I am, stepping into this palace of illusions to see it for myself. I notice Chloe's eyes flick over me. She's taken aback by my appearance, and that gives me a small spark of satisfaction, because I no longer look like the tired, worn-down woman Jeff once discarded. I made changes once that I never revealed to a single soul. The lottery I won months ago had paid for more than just a new wardrobe. I invested in myself. Subtle plastic surgery, a personal trainer, premium skincare. The lines on my face are softer, my posture straighter, my confidence high. I am not the same woman Jeff left behind. Tonight, wearing a sleek black dress that fits me perfectly, I see a flicker of envy flash across Chloe's face. She's supposed to be the younger, glamorous one, yet here I stand, nearly overshadowing her with nothing more than a calm, poised presence. Jeff clears his throat. The band stops playing. My children exchange nervous glances. Luna mouths something to me. A silent, "What are you doing here?" I pretend not to notice. Jeff steps away from Chloe and approaches, forced smile plastered on his face. "I wasn't expecting you." My chin lifts. Clearly. A ripple of curiosity spreads among the guest business partners, extended family, people I vaguely recognize from the city's social circles. Their expressions range from disapproval to pity, as if I am some lonely old woman who can't move on. The weight of their stares is suffocating, but I keep my composure. His tone is clipped. "Why don't we go somewhere private? We can talk." I don't move. Instead, I let my gaze shift to Logan and Luna, who hover at the edge of the crowd. The moment they see me looking, Luna flinches. Logan drops his gaze to the polished marble floor. That's when I decide to deliver the blow. I came here for the truth. I straighten my back, and my voice carries clearly through the hush. "There's no need to hide, Jeff," I say, directing my words so everyone can hear. "I want to congratulate you and Chloe on your long-standing union, and I want to thank Logan and Luna for making it so clear where their loyalties lie." A few people gasp softly. It's a scandalous tone to strike at a public party, but for too long, I've been quiet. Chloe moves forward, smiling with her perfectly lined lips. Her voice is smoother than honey, but laced with steel. "I'm sure you know how hectic life can be. We wanted to invite you, but you've been distant." She glances theatrically at the nearest table, full of her friends. "We figured you wouldn't want to attend a celebration like this, considering the circumstances of your divorce." The word divorce floats in the air like a toxic cloud. My eyes narrow. So that's her approach. Bury me under the idea that I'm bitter, that I can't handle seeing my ex-husband celebrate with his new wife. I exhale slowly. Actually, I do love a celebration. Though, it's funny you mentioned divorce, because I remember Jeff claiming he was leaving me for your youth and beauty, and now here you are, throwing a giant party to mark your success in dethroning the aging wife. An uncomfortable rustling passes among the guests. No one dares step in. This is between me, Jeff, and Chloe. And, in a way, Logan and Luna. because they stand behind Chloe like complicit shadows. Chloe's brows arch. I'm not sure what you're implying. I step closer, quietly. You know exactly what I'm implying. Jeff tries to maintain control. He gestures around. Let's move. No, I interject, holding my ground. Let's not. Let's stand here, in front of everyone, and talk about how my children abandoned me on my birthday to celebrate you and Chloe. Let's talk about how I discovered that Chloe specifically told them not to see me, even though I had invited them for a quiet dinner at home. Let's talk about how humiliating it was to sit alone at a table laid out for a family that never came. The air stings with tension. Chloe flicks a glance at Logan, as if silently commanding him to speak up. He does, though his voice is tentative. Mom, it's not what you think. My head tilts. Really? Then tell me what it is. He hesitates, clearing his throat. Chloe said you had other plans, that you didn't want us around. She just wanted to protect us from more arguments. She thought it'd be easier if we came here, so we wouldn't be pulled into any drama between you and Dad. It's such a blatant lie that I can barely keep from trembling, but I keep my tone level. Protect you from me? Let me guess, she told you I was bitter and difficult, that I wouldn't take it kindly if you mentioned coming to this party, so you two just decided to lie. He says nothing, which tells me everything. My children were manipulated, yes, but they allowed themselves to be manipulated. My heart cracks a bit, remembering how often I worked double shifts, how I once sold an heirloom ring to help Logan through college. All those sacrifices. For what? Chloe clicks her tongue sympathetically. We all have different perspectives. Maybe next time we can handle it differently. No need for a scene. Let's have a toast together, for old time's sake. I feel heat flood my cheeks. A toast? To what, the fact that Jeff left me because I dared to show signs of aging? Or to you, who so kindly replaced me in my children's lives? Or maybe to my daughter calling you Mom when she was too busy to even send me a birthday text? Which is it, Chloe? Her smile wavers. I sense she didn't expect me to be so direct. You're hurting, and that's understandable. But the past is the past. Jeff and I have been married for a while now, so obviously we built a life together. It's not my fault if your children prefer our gatherings. In that moment, I imagine tearing down the entire facade of civility, but instead, I take a steady breath, because this is only half the reason I came tonight. I wanted to see the look on their faces when the truth unraveled. The truth about me and the fact that I am no longer the powerless woman they think I am. Still, I can't reveal everything here. Not yet. Instead, I turn my gaze to my children, ignoring Jeff and Chloe altogether. Look at me, both of you. Slowly, Logan and Luna lift their eyes. There's guilt there, uncertainty too, but there's no warmth, no rush of love. Their expressions are more like they've been cornered at a crime scene. I say softly, I once believed I would give you everything I had. My time, my money, my love. I assumed that if I was patient, if I worked hard, you'd understand and repay me with loyalty. But I see now that was foolish. Luna's lips part. Mom, we never asked you to... I lift my hand to stop her. Enough. I came here to see the people you've chosen instead of me. I've seen them. I see who you are now, and I promise you this. I will not beg, and I will not compete. You made your choice. She starts to speak, but I turn on my heel and walk away, ignoring the hush that descends. The adrenaline rushing through my veins is scorching, but I keep my chin high. My footsteps echo. By the time I reach the exit, I'm trembling so badly I have to pause and steady myself. Yet, a strange clarity overtakes me. The worst has happened. I've seen my children's betrayal, felt the sting of public humiliation. But I survived. And something in me says, now it's their turn to feel what it's like to be left behind. I didn't wake up one morning and decide to wage war on my family. Once, I cherished them more than the air I breathed. Years ago, I was just an ordinary woman married to Jeff, mother to Logan and Luna. For a long time, I believed I had a decent marriage. We argued occasionally, but who doesn't? We weren't deeply in love, but we had companionship, or so I thought. Then, around the time I turned 58, Jeff started hinting that I should dress younger, maybe color the gray out of my hair. He gave me brochures for cosmetic surgery, lightly joked about how I was letting myself go. I brushed it off, telling myself he was worried about my health. But the truth was simpler. Jeff just didn't want an older wife. He wanted someone who looked like Chloe. I found out about her one day by accident. A text popped up on Jeff's phone when he left it charging in the kitchen. I wasn't snooping, just picking it up to silence the ringtone. But the text read, "I can't wait until you're free of her. Hurry up and leave before she gets even older." The casual cruelty took my breath away. That's the first time I realized how little Jeff respected me. The second time was the day he walked in with a half-empty suitcase and a grin that said he finally had an excuse to go. He told me, "I need something fresh in my life. Chloe makes me feel alive. I hope you understand." I remember my hands shaking as I folded laundry. "What about the children?" He shrugged. "They can visit you whenever. Chloe's got a big place, so they might stay with us too. No big deal." That's the sort of self-assurance he carried, as though people were pieces on his personal chessboard. He moved them around for his comfort, never considering their feelings. Losing him didn't break me as much as losing the version of my children I'd once known. They were young adults by then, college and first jobs. But gradually, I saw them drifting into Jeff's orbit. They admired his new, younger wife. She had money, or at least Jeff had money. She was fun, glamorous, fashionable. I was the tired mother whose life was spent working to pay their tuition bills. Over time, they stopped coming over for Sunday dinners. They didn't answer my calls. Their phone conversations grew short and dismissive. And this year, on my 66th birthday, I discovered they'd rather attend a lavish anniversary for Jeff and Chloe than spend a simple evening with me. The heartbreak was deep enough to break bones, but something else happened around that time. I won the lottery, the very same week. Life has a twisted sense of humor. Suddenly, I had millions of dollars at my disposal, more than enough to shower them with houses, cars, or anything they desired. I almost told them the moment I got the call confirming the numbers. My first instinct was to give them everything. Then the reality of their betrayal sank in. And I realized handing them more money wouldn't bring me their love. It would only deepen the shallow bond. I kept it secret. I took the lump sum, lost quite a bit to taxes, but still came out with over 10 million, enough to change my life. I went ahead and changed my face, my body, my clothes. Then I changed my heart. I half expect that after my dramatic exit from Chloe's anniversary celebration, Logan and Luna will flood me with messages, either apologetic or furious. But the next day, my phone stays silent. Then the next week passes. Nothing. It becomes clear they're waiting for me to break, for me to come begging for forgiveness. They're used to me caving. They're used to their father's old worldview, that I should remain meek and grateful for any crumbs of attention. But I do not cave. I do not call. Instead, I focus on my Café pride and solace. When I first purchased the building, it was run down, paint flaking off the walls. My real estate agent thought I was crazy for wanting it. But the location was perfect, close to a budding arts district, full of tourists and locals who love to lounge with coffee and books. I poured money into renovations. I hired a small staff of young baristas and gave them fair wages. I installed bookshelves, comfortable chairs, reading lamps, and covered the walls with soft, pastel colors. The smell of espresso and pastries lingers in every corner. In those early months, I woke up every day with excitement. Something about building from scratch made me feel alive. And my reflection in the mirror? Strong posture, lightly touched up hair, subtle changes from the surgery that I keep discreet. It's a quiet victory every time I catch a glimpse of myself and see the woman I've become. One rainy afternoon, a month after the fiasco at the anniversary party, I'm restocking coffee beans in the back storage when I hear the door chimes ring. My barista, Hannah, calls out, "Welcome. Let me know if you need anything." There's a tense silence. Then a shaky voice replies, "I'm looking for my mother." My heart stalls. That's Logan. I step out to see him standing in the cafe, soaking from the rain, hair plastered to his forehead. He's thinner than I remember, dark circles under his eyes. Hannah points at me with a polite smile. "That's the owner." Logan approaches, hands stuffed into his jacket pockets. "Mom, can we talk?" Part of me wants to say no. Part of me wants to rush over and hug him. I do neither. Instead, I nod once and lead him to a corner table by the window. The cafe is quiet, only a few patrons reading or typing on laptops, and they don't seem to care about our private drama. He sits, dripping water onto the floor. I stay standing, arms crossed, controlling my urge to comfort him. "Do you want a towel?" I ask coolly. He rubs his eyes. "Number, it's fine." Silence yawns between us. I notice how hollow his cheeks look. He used to look so confident, especially when he was with his father and Chloe. Now he seems lost. "What do you want, Logan?" A flicker of hurt crosses his face. He's probably not used to my distant tone. "Mom, I got kicked out of the condo. Michelle wants a divorce. Said I was unfaithful. I messed up. So the rumors were true. He had an affair with a woman Chloe introduced him to. And you think I can fix it? Or you need a place to stay? He flinches. I'm not here to beg for money. I need someone to talk to. I feel like I've lost everything. A pang of sympathy tugs at me. This is my son, after all. I lower my voice. Logan, you had everything. You had my unconditional love. You had a chance at a normal life. Instead, you followed your father's footsteps and took advice from Chloe. Now you're paying the price. He grips the edge of the table. Dad said I should just live for myself. That family comes second to success. Chloe made it sound so glamorous. I realize now how stupid I was. I remain silent, letting him continue. He clears his throat, his voice trembling. Mom, I'm sorry for ignoring your calls. I'm sorry for choosing that party over your birthday. I thought Dad had more to offer, that Chloe was some gateway to a better life. They kept saying you'd be a burden, that you'd make me choose sides. My heart clenches at the cruelty. And did I ever do that? No, he admits, eyes downcast. It was all in my head. I thought maybe if I distanced myself, things would be easier. I wouldn't have to witness the tension between you and Dad. I never realized I was hurting you. Anger and sadness war inside me. I take a breath. You didn't just hurt me, Logan. You betrayed everything I taught you about loyalty and decency. You can't just say sorry and make it go away. He stares at the table. I know. Hannah walks over, noticing the tension. She politely asks if we need anything. I signal for 2 coffees, and she leaves us alone. Logan whispers, Mom, I have no one else to turn to. Dad and Chloe, they won't let me crash with them. They said I'm too old to be mooching off them. I don't have enough money for a new place right now. Michelle changed the locks. I'm basically homeless. A part of me wants to tell him he deserves it. Another part remembers him as a bright-eyed boy who used to hold my hand on the walk home from school. My throat tightens. What do you expect from me? He lifts his gaze, full of shame. Just a chance to fix things with you. To talk things out. I sigh. Fine. You can stay in the small apartment above the store I own a few blocks away, but only for a short time. I'm renting it out soon, so it's temporary. Understand? He looks surprised. Yes, of course. Thank you. I lean in. Don't misunderstand, Logan. This isn't some grand reconciliation. This is me not wanting to see you sleeping in the streets, that's all. If you want a relationship with me in the future, you'll have to earn it. He nods, tears brimming. I will. I promise. Watching my grown son cry in a corner of my cafe stirs so many conflicting emotions. But I set them aside. I'll help him, but I won't let him walk all over me again. A few weeks pass. The cafe is lively, customers enjoy pumpkin spice lattes. My staff shares local gossip. Logan stays in the apartment, finds a job, and texts daily updates. I keep my distance, cautious not to let him too close again. One autumn afternoon, Luna walks in, visibly pregnant and worn out. I lead her to my office upstairs. She sits heavily, voice trembling. I left Lucifer, she whispers. He cheated, hurt me. Dad knew and sided with him. I nod. I'd heard rumors. They made me believe you were bitter, but they used me. Chloe called me ungrateful and told me she wouldn't care for my child. I'm humiliated. I pause. What do you want from me? I'm due in 4 months. I know I hurt you, but I need my mom. Tears rise, but I stay firm. You chose Chloe. Told me to stop clinging to the past. I was wrong, she murmurs. She bought my loyalty. I regret it. Did you think of me on my birthday? I did, but Chloe said you'd never accept us. Her eyes glisten. Lucifer's name was on the lease. Dad offered a room, but Chloe said I wasn't welcome. I have nowhere else. I remember the baby she once was and sigh. I'll help you find a place temporary. You'll need to stand on your own. She exhales, tearful. Thank you. I won't expect the old you. Good, I say. She's gone. Within a few weeks, Luna and Logan realize I've arranged temporary housing for them, never suspecting I'm secretly wealthy. I sometimes wonder if they'd revert to old behaviors if they knew about my fortune, though part of me worries I'm being unfair. Then fresh drama hits. Jeff calls without warning. I let the phone ring 3 times. His voice attempts calm, but desperation seeps through. He claims Chloe spent his money on shady deals, leaving him in debt and facing foreclosure. She wants a divorce, he mutters. After all I gave her, she's gone. I recall the day he left me, suitcase half packed, saying he needed someone younger. Now he pleads for me to pool resources so he won't drown. Stop, I say. If you think I'll pay your debts, you're delusional. He tries guilt. Don't you think about Logan and Luna? They want us back together, so they don't have to choose sides. I picture him expecting me to cave. You told me I was too old. Now you want a rescue? He presses. We have a history. Doesn't that mean anything? My voice stays firm. Not anymore. You made your bed. Lie in it. Hanging up, I feel a fierce satisfaction. Let him taste what it's like to be discarded. That evening, I close the cafe early, old hurts stirring. The sunset dissolves into neon lights, each glow a promise of new beginnings. I inhale, reminding myself I've built a life beyond him and his betrayals, and I vow to keep going. A few days later, to my utter astonishment, Chloe herself appears at the cafe door. She steps inside, wearing large sunglasses, a designer purse at her elbow. She doesn't look as glamorous as usual. There's a slight tremor in her posture. Hannah politely greets her, but Chloe hardly responds. When she spots me behind the counter, her eyes widen just a bit. Then she tries to straighten her shoulders, gliding closer in her stylish heels. I set down the coffee mug I'm rinsing. What brings you here? Her gaze flits around the cafe, assessing it. Perhaps she's surprised that it's actually nice. Perhaps she pictured me living in some rundown shack. She musters a silky tone. I wanted to talk if you have a moment. One of my staff members, Nathan, glances between us, sensing the tension. I give him a slight nod to indicate it's all right. He returns to serving customers. Chloe and I move to an empty table near the side. She removes her sunglasses, placing them on the wooden surface. Up close, I notice the faint lines of stress around her eyes, the anxious tightness in her mouth. It's a far cry from the smug confidence I've seen at her parties. She begins calmly. You've probably heard from Jeff that we're separating. I nod. He mentioned something along those lines. She fiddles with the strap of her purse. He's trying to paint me as the villain. But you should know he squandered a lot of our money on bad decisions. I had no choice but to cut my losses. I raise an eyebrow. Is that so? A little flash of desperation breaks through her composure. Look, I know you resent me, but everything that happened, it was inevitable, with or without me. Jeff was never happy in a stale marriage. I just offered him an escape. Her words sting, but I contain my reaction. Did you come here to justify your affair? Chloe's cheeks flush. I came because I need help. Jeff's debts are bigger than I realized, and some very unpleasant people are demanding payback. I'm worried for my safety. I heard you still talk to him occasionally. Maybe you can persuade him to step up and handle it. The sheer nerve of her request almost makes me laugh. You want me to save Jeff from loan sharks or whoever is after him? Why on earth would I do that? She inhales shakily. For your children's sake. They still see Jeff as their father, and if something were to happen to him, it would devastate them. I sense the manipulation in her words. She's trying to use my children's emotional well-being as leverage. But after all, I've endured. I see right through it. My voice remains calm. Your concern is touching, but I think Logan and Luna can handle themselves. They're grown. If Jeff is in danger, he can deal with the consequences of his own choices. Her expression grows sharper. You always play the victim, don't you? But you're not so innocent. I heard rumors you came into some money, a sudden windfall, and now you're sitting here, lording it over everyone. I feel a flicker of alarm. Does she suspect my lottery win? I keep a straight face. I manage my finances responsibly. That's all you need to know. Her lip curls. I thought maybe we could make a deal. Help me settle Jeff's debt, or at least push him to do it. In return, I'll leave your children alone. I know they still respect me in some ways. My patience snaps. You think you can bribe me by offering to leave my children alone? Let me make something clear. You have no hold over them anymore. They see who you really are. You're free to do whatever you wish, but don't expect me to protect either of you. You and Jeff can drown in your own mess. Chloe's mouth opens, then closes. For a moment, she looks genuinely afraid. Then she stands abruptly, snatching her sunglasses. She tosses a glance around the cafe, her voice trembling with barely concealed anger. Fine. When everything collapses on him, remember that you could have stopped it. I wonder how Logan and Luna will feel when their father is ruined. Will they still respect you? I stand too, matching her height. Respect is earned, not coerced. Now kindly leave my establishment." She glares, then storms out, nearly colliding with a startled customer at the entrance. I exhale, forcing myself to calm down. My hands tremble with adrenaline. It's surreal. Chloe used to be this symbol of youth and excitement, the woman Jeff left me for. Now she's an anxious, cornered figure, grasping for salvation from the very person she wronged. I can't help but feel a pang of grim satisfaction. Perhaps this is fate or simply karma. Either way, I won't intervene. Weeks roll by. Word spreads that Jeff's finances have spiraled. A local tabloid runs a story detailing how a once-respected city official is embroiled in lawsuits for unpaid debts. He's in danger of losing his home. Rumors suggest the loan sharks aren't far behind. Chloe's name surfaces too, but she's apparently fled to another state, leaving Jeff to face the consequences alone. Logan and Luna react with shock, confusion, and a certain sense of betrayal. Logan occasionally asks if we can do anything for Jeff, but each time, I shake my head. One afternoon, Logan corners me in the back of the cafe. "Mom, Dad's in serious trouble. He might end up, I don't know, on the streets." My heart is steel now. And whose fault is that? He spent years mocking me for being older. He chose Chloe and belittled me in front of you. Then he neglected you, manipulated you. Why should I rescue him? Logan hesitates. Because he's my father. I don't want to see him harmed. I lay a hand gently on his arm. Sometimes, the greatest mercy is to let people face the results of their actions. If Jeff had any sense of responsibility, he'd solve his problems. Or he'd approach you with an actual apology. Instead, he's probably hiding behind more excuses. Logan's shoulders slump. He realizes the truth. You're right, he hasn't changed. He still tries to guilt me for not working harder. I guess I just don't want him hurt. I nod, sympathy stirring. I understand, but if you help him, you'll get dragged back into his chaos. You only just got out. Logan sighs heavily. I know. By now, Luna has moved into a small rental apartment with my help. She's nearing her due date. She visits me regularly, more humble than ever. In quiet moments, she thanks me for standing by, albeit with firm boundaries. Each time I see her, I sense her growing maturity, shaped by the harsh lessons of betrayal from her father and ex-partner. And so the days pass until one day, news breaks. Jeff's house is seized. He tries to plead with the bank, but it's over. I hear from a mutual acquaintance that he's effectively evicted, left with a suitcase in his car. That same acquaintance also reveals he'd reached out to various old friends, hoping to couch surf. They all turned him away. He eventually shows up at the cafe in wrinkled clothes, hair unkempt. He stands at the threshold, as though uncertain whether to step inside. The staff glance at me, questioning. I nod slightly, letting him enter. He walks over, ignoring the stares of a few customers. We stand face to face near the counter. He tries to muster that old confidence. Is there a place we can talk? I motion him to a corner away from listening ears, though I suspect everyone's curious. He sits with a weary sigh. Looks like you're doing well, he comments, gazing around. I remain standing. I am. His gaze lingers on my refreshed appearance, the subtle changes to my face. I barely recognize you. That was the point, I respond coolly. He exhales. Everything's gone. Chloe took off with most of our remaining funds. The bank took the house. I have nowhere to go. I fold my arms. So you're here for what, exactly? An apology? A handout? He tries a pitiful smile. You always were the kind, forgiving one. I thought maybe you could let me stay with you, or at least front me some money so I can get back on my feet. My eyes narrow. You left me because I was older, no longer fresh enough. You replaced me with a younger woman. You turned my children against me, told them I was a burden. Now you want me to shelter you? His face pales. I never meant for it to go this far. I thought Chloe would stand by me, but she's heartless. And were you any different when you walked out on me? I asked quietly. You called me worthless, remember? Told me I was better off alone because you needed a partner who wasn't behind the times. He drops his gaze. I was a fool. I let that statement linger. Yes, you were, but more than that, you were cruel. And cruelty has a way of circling back. He glances around, then lowers his voice desperately. If you won't do it for me, do it for the kids. Show them that forgiveness can bring us back together, that we can be a family. Inwardly, I recoil. He's trying the same tactic Chloe tried using our children's emotional ties as currency. I set my jaw. Number, I won't let you manipulate me again. His eyes shimmer with panic. I have nowhere else to go. I speak calmly, though my pulse pounds. That's not my fault. If Luna or Logan want to help you, that's their choice. As for me, I have done enough. He stares, slack-jawed. You'd just leave me homeless? I raise an eyebrow. You left me heartbroken. You left your children confused. You left our marriage in pieces. All for a fantasy of youth and excitement. Maybe now you'll learn to stand on your own feet. A bitter laugh escapes him. So you're just going to watch me sink? You taught me a lesson, I reply softly, that sometimes watching from the sidelines is all we can do. He tries to argue, but I turn and walk away, leaving him trembling in that corner. My staff are polite but firm when they see him stand uncertainly. They escort him to the door. From behind the counter, I glimpse his silhouette slump as he exits into the cold. I wonder if he'll sleep in his car, or if he'll find some couch to crash on, but it's not my problem anymore. He cast me aside once. Now, I do the same. 2 months pass like a whirlwind. Luna gives birth to a healthy baby girl. The labor is difficult, and I stay with her in the hospital, supporting her through the pain. When the baby finally arrives, Luna's tears flow freely. She grasps my hand, whispering, "Thank you for being here." For the first time since our estrangement, I hold her gaze. "I'm proud of you," I say softly. And I mean it. She's shown resilience I never thought she had. She's been taking parenting classes, saving up from her modest job. She's determined to provide a good life for her child without repeating the mistakes of the past. Logan, on the other hand, continues working, gradually clearing his debts from the divorce settlement. He visits Luna often, sometimes bringing groceries or helping her run errands. They're closer to each other now, forging a sibling bond that was lost for a time under Chloe's influence. And me? I watch from a careful distance. I help them with little things, finding a babysitter, suggesting cost-effective shopping, but I remain guarded. They hurt me too deeply for me to fling my arms open. I've chosen a slow path, letting them prove themselves day by day. Jeff remains adrift, moving from one cheap motel to another. Eventually, word reaches me that he lost his job. Some scandal about mismanaged funds that came to light. He's humiliated, angry, but forced to accept that no one will rescue him. The friend network he once bragged about has evaporated. People see him as a risk, a cautionary tale. Chloe's name surfaces now and then. Someone spots her in a different state, rumored to be dating a wealthy investor. I feel no bitterness anymore, only a detached sense of closure. She's out of my life. One late afternoon, I arrive at the cafe after a weekend away, checking on a potential second location. My phone buzzes with an unknown number. I answer to find a journalist on the line, politely introducing herself. She says she's heard rumors that I used to be Jeff's wife, and wonders if I'd like to comment on his current situation for an exposé. He once had it all, and now he's lost everything. The public loves a redemption or downfall story, she says. For a moment, I recall that humiliating day in the banquet hall, the smugness on Jeff's face, Chloe's triumphant smile. I close my eyes. I answer quietly, I have no comment, because I don't need the world to see his downfall from my perspective. Justice has already been served. He has nothing, while I have built something. I have my cafe, my independence, my silent fortune from the lottery that continues to grow in secure investments. And I have a cautious, repairing bond with my children, who realize now that love is not infinite if you trample it. I step inside the cafe, greeted by the aroma of roasted beans. The place is nearly full, students typing on laptops, couples chatting softly, a group flipping through art books at the back. My staff wave. The air thrums with quiet joy. Behind me, the door opens. Luna enters with her baby in a carrier. She looks tired but determined. She catches my eye and offers a tentative smile. I nod, letting a small smile curve my lips. She approaches. The baby's napping now, but I wanted to stop by and show you something. She pulls out a simple photograph from her bag, an image of the baby, bright-eyed, wearing a tiny onesie with a picture of a coffee cup on it. At the bottom it says, Grandma's little bean. I can't help the soft laugh that escapes me. Adorable. She hesitates. I thought, maybe we could put it on your fridge or on the cafe wall, but only if you want. A swirl of emotions rushes through me. Once, Luna was the baby in my arms, and I would do anything for her. Then, she cast me aside. Now, she's a mother. She's come full circle. I gently touch the photo. Yes. Let's put it on the staff board near the pastries. A small sign of acceptance. She brightens. I realize that in giving her this, I'm also letting go of some pain. Not all, but enough to move forward. We move to the staff board, where pictures of employees and cafe memories hang. I tack the photo in a corner, writing the baby's name underneath it. A new generation of strong women, I remark softly. Luna's eyes fill with tears. Thank you. I glance at her. Don't thank me. Just keep doing better. That's all I ask. She nods. I will. Then she steps aside to get a warm beverage, and I linger, looking at that tiny face in the photo. A pang of sadness, yes, for all the heartbreak that shaped us, but also a sense of hope, because life can begin again, even after betrayal. In the following months, my cafe blossoms into a beloved community haven. I discreetly buy a second location, staying a fair boss no one suspects I won the lottery. Logan finds a modest apartment, repays me, and learns from his mistakes. We chat about small things, rebuilding trust step by step. Luna's baby grows strong, and she insists on paying a tiny babysitting fee, honoring her new independence. Jeff drifts away. Rumor says he sleeps in a friend's garage, then quietly leaves town. Storms pass. I discover a peace I never thought possible. At night, I sometimes open my safe, running a fingertip over the checkbook that holds my lottery winnings. I never used it to buy love or rescue Jeff. I used it to rebuild myself. Now, I welcome each sunrise with a lighter heart, free from seeking anyone's approval. My scars remain, but my regrets do not. I flip the cafe sign to "Open" each morning and greet customers with a genuine smile. In that calm aftermath, I found a power I never knew, choosing myself when no one else would.